Hello and welcome back to Automation and beamng.drive. Today we are making a YUGO competitor. Very original idea, I know. Starting off, we will have steel body panels and a steel monocoque chassis. It is going to be front wheel drive, so front transverse. It is going to have double wishbone in the front and torsion beam in the rear. Now, this is using a rule set that a friend has sent me, so we are going to have to make engine to some specific requirements, like it can have a max of 6 cylinders, can only go up to 1300 cc, so we are going to just drop it down. We're going to drop it down to probably closer to 1 litre, like so. And it has to be 2 valve per cylinder, so it cannot be dual overhead cam as well as we are not allowed to touch any quality sliders, so we are just going to go for the most generic, cheap parts that we can find. We are forced to use carburetors, and so we can't use DCOE either. We have to use a standard intake. It can be low or medium. We are going to go for medium. We have to use regular unleaded with an ignition timing of -1. We can only use cast headers, so we're going to go for cast mid. And we have to have a catalytic converter and 2 mufflers. It needs a minimum efficiency of 10%, which we have hit. I shall tune the engine and I'll be right back. After some tuning, we are now at 37 horsepower. Let's give it a test and see how it sounds. Incredibly quiet. It is only a 3-cylinder and it has 2 mufflers, so that does make sense, but still surprising that it is at the volume it is, considering how low its volume is, because it's only 28 there. Anywho, front wheel drive, we can have a max of 5 gears, and I believe, yes, manuals are cheaper, so we'll just go for a 3-speed. As for the differential, we are just going to go open, as there is no rule about it. As for the tires, we are going to go for radials, but we are forced into hard long life, and we have a maximum tire width of 165. No rules about brakes, so we'll just go for drums, as they are nice, cheap, and easy. As for seating, we need a minimum of 2 full seats, so we'll go for a cheap bench seat in the back, a basic interior, and a basic cassette player. We are required to have hydraulic steering, no ABS. We are required to have basic 80s safety or better, and there's no rules for the suspension. As for the cost, we are under budget by $2,070. And with that, let's get to the design. And here we are in beamng.drive with the Chrome Hubo. It looks pretty good if I do say so myself. In the interior, as you can see, the roof is not done. This is totally a design choice and not because I'm too lazy to do interior roofing. But we have very, very cheap seats. We actually have pedals and things. Made sure everything's all correct. We even have a little place for the handbrake to sit, which I thought is a nice detail to add. Couldn't really be bothered to fix the boot, so I just added a cover over the top. And yeah, that is pretty much all the interior. Does that light up? It does not. Interesting. Normally they do. We are going to be driving around Italy with some traffic cars just to see how it drives, how well it handles, and what sort of fuel efficiency we can expect out of it. I'm gonna try and drive as economically as possible. I don't know how well that's exactly going to go, but it's pretty good. I did do some modifications to the engine in between Timelapse and when I last spoke, and so we now have 40 horsepower and we are single overhead cam instead of push rod, so we get a lot better fuel efficiency out of the engine. Still quite cheap, only like $7,050. So, still very cheap car, still a 3-speed, and yeah, we getting quite good fuel economy at the moment, considering we're in city traffic. Not really had to do much accelerating, so we're able to keep up the speed that we're building. As we drive around Italy, we're going to see just how much fuel economy we do get. But overall, it's seeming quite good. Let's see if I can go for an overtake. Not added any custom engine sounds. I felt that the stock i3 sound it came with was quite good. And so, the heck was that? Just a horde of angry bees just driving around, apparently. Yeah, so just gonna drive around at a reasonable pace. I don't believe I've ever seen that car before. Maybe I have. Yeah, just gonna have a nice cruise. Yeah, that's the ETK whatever series. I don't know, the one that has a DTM trim. And yeah, so far getting good economy. Currently at 30 miles per gallon. That's US miles per gallon. Ooh, very nearly had an incident there. Locked the brakes and everything. Let's see if we can't floor it. Probably not a good idea to overtake around the corner. Speed. Overall, handling pretty well. It's got a good amount of grip. I did also add a viscous limited slip diff, as well as I tuned the suspension quite a bit. So it should handle quite well. No longer has terminal oversteer. Still turns quite well. Not really driving very efficiently focused, but you know, it's fine. This sort of car doesn't really have the power to have fun whilst driving efficiently, so it's not too much of an issue to just floor it everywhere. Still currently getting quite good mileage despite enthusiastic throttle. Ooh, did not make it through that gap. I've stolen someone's mirror. Have they? I think one of the mods I've downloaded has affected sounds in some way, because I don't remember sounds being this good. Like, if I turn this engine off, yeah, I don't remember the startup sound being like that, but whatever. I'm not complaining. Oh, bugger, we've reset the fuel efficiency. Oh well, we left it off at about like 25. So all of that was basically for naught, but all good. I'm gonna see if we can drive it down the mountain, see what sort of top speed we can reach, because automation said about 140-ish, but not entirely sure how achievable that is going to be in beamng.drive. See if we can't go for an overtake. We can. Why have you done that? Why am I trying to turn the engine off? Idiot. Let's go down this way. See what we can see. Ooh, very loose on the rear, so that's something to look out for. Front brakes are stronger than necessary, and the rear brakes are weaker than than grip, so they shouldn't be able to lock up unless we're potentially turning. That might cause them to lock up. Ooh. It's slidey, but it's controllable. It's not... It doesn't want to kill you slidey. I mean, well, it does, but it doesn't want to... Like, it wants to kill you, but it's also like, just tricking. Just kidding. That sort of thing. Where it basically uses it to enhance its cornering capabilities as opposed to trying to just spin out, because it loses rear grip and then it gains it all back, which very odd, but could just potentially be due to the way this car is made with its relatively stiff rear sway bar, but it's also got torsion beam on the rear, so ooh, not really wanting to turn there. Very heavy engine, surprisingly. I mean, that's probably due to the fact it's an inline 3, but like, I removed the harmonic damper, so it doesn't actually have any balancing to it. So it's quite impressive that it's able to just rev so freely, like, well, not freely, no. It revs so heavy. It's probably due to its lack of power, to be honest. So yeah, this thing revs at like 1,400, 1,500-ish sort of area, which is incredibly high, but for an inline 3, it's sort of to be expected. Especially one with this little power, it just needs to be able to idle high so that it can actually idle whilst not stalling. Tires, quite grippy, quite okay. Under braking, like little squeaks, but other than that, not much of a issue. Like, we're driving really aggressively here, and we're getting 28 miles per gallon, which I'll convert that into real units so that people can understand this unit properly. And this is UK gallons, so it will be different compared to US gallons. I don't know why there's two different gallon sizes, but there is. Yeah, just cruising along. Doing it pretty nicely. I think next we'll do a towing test, and then who knows. Ooh, didn't turn there. Oh, there's a pile up. Oops. Why is that pink? Odd. Weird UV issues going on, apparently. Ooh, drift. Yay. Saved it. Ooh. Bought the drift. I'd like to see a drift build of this. I don't know how I'd do it, but certainly do let me know down below if that's something you would be interested in seeing. So we are going to be driving from the bottom of this hill here all the way to the city up here. And we are going to be doing a delivery of 200 kilos of beans to this castle here. So we have to drive from here all the way up along this windy road, which keeps going and keeps going until we reach here, in which case we now have to go up here, navigate this tight corner here, somehow do this hairpin here and make it to here. Or we could go around that way, which could potentially be easier than figuring out how to hairpin it around here, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Starting off, use all the torque we can muster. Keep it high in the rev range. Could have theoretically added a turbo to this. That wouldn't be against the rules I was given, but it would be against the sort of spirit of the rules I was given, so I opted against it. Plus, it's not really the sort of thing that I wanted to do, so yeah. Oh yeah, we've got to deal with cars on our way up too. That's gonna be a pain. Overtake with a trailer. I mean, he kind of stopped for me, but... So this is going to be a test of our fuel economy uphill with a trailer, as well as just with a trailer in general. Ooh. Why would you stop there? Ooh, come on, rev it up. Not liking the hill start. Overtake that guy that's just stopped. Like, it's able to corner quite well, you just don't want to turn too much, otherwise you'll get into a fishtail. Bit squiggly out of corners, but overall it is able to do them well. Quite tight, narrow road here, and they're being quite mean, going quite close to the center line. This trailer is actually wider than the car itself, even including the mirrors, which, honestly, impressive how tiny this car is. Ooh. Unironically, I love this car, to be honest. I want to see more of this car. I'm definitely inclined to do so. Like potentially a rally trim, or even its upmarket bigger brother. Bigger in terms of engine capacity, not vehicle size. Really struggling to get up this hill in anything but first gear. Would shift up, but we gotta make this corner somehow. Sort of just drift around it. I think the trailer is actually giving us a rear grip. Like, not only from the tires, but also just the weight of it. What are you doing? Maniacs, man. Like, why are you stopping there? Like, I've got places to be. Like, come on. I don't have a horn bound to my controller. Otherwise, I would definitely be beeping him. Just utilize all the power band that we can. Say we're at peak power soon. I think peak power might be about 4,900-ish. I did design the front end a little loosely based off of, say, I believe it's a Honda City or something like that, where it has that sort of just straight line across and very much open top bit of that front grille, or open in terms of just body paint instead of, you know, being just gap. And with the rear, I didn't really design it off of anything in mind. I just chose some real 80s square lights. The idea with most of it would just be like a parts bin special to make it cheap as possible. So like these mirrors would be off of, say, a ute of some sort. Headlights would be like, I mean, out of a Honda City, I guess. I don't know, something. And then taillights would be from something else. I don't believe there's any car that has taillights that look like that in real life, but lore-wise, it would be the case where the taillights are from a different car. And then the wheels, they're only 3 lug, because this thing, I mean, it's 700 kilos, but it's still incredibly light, and it doesn't need the 4 lugs. I do like the idea of 3 lugs on a vehicle such as this. And then, yeah, door handles probably from a car, not sure what one. Seats would be ripped out of something else, steering wheel out of something else. Ooh, we've made it to the top. Screw you, stop sign. Let's try and get around this tight corner. Not as tight as I thought it would be, to be honest. Like, still pretty tight. I think this is going to be the most difficult part here, but we've nailed it perfectly. Look at that. Oh, nailed it perfectly, he says, as he gets his front wheel stuck inside of a bench. Try and turn as late as possible so that the trailer is able to make it in. And we have arrived at our destination. Wow, that was surprisingly easier than I thought it would be, to be honest. And we did it with 15 miles per gallon. And so now we are just going to do a quick highway run to test what sort of, not only top speed, but also what sort of fuel efficiency this thing can get whilst putting it through its paces in terms of, you know, actually just trying to be a functional car. Like, this, he's a small bean, but, like, he's got a big heart, and he's gonna try his best to do as well as he can. So we are now up to 100 kilometers an hour at like 4,500 RPM. But wow, like this thing just sips fuel. Like it's currently getting like 50 miles per gallon. Like that's insane. And we're currently at highway speeds. Let's try and just weave through traffic a bit. Not too much, but just safely weaving through traffic as they go below the, oh, well actually they're going at the speed limit, which is apparently 80, but screw you, I'm doing 100 on the bridge. 60 miles per gallon at 3,500 RPM is just unheard of, to be honest. Like, that's what happens when you have a 1-liter engine. It's just insane. Like, if I ever get the opportunity to own a car that has just a tiny engine, like, that would be amazing, because, like, it's just something that you could drive at full pace and you just can't speed, it just won't let you. Like, it's impossible to speed. Like, you want to break the speed limit? Okay, go downhill. Like, that's what you have to do. And it's just madness. And then, also, they usually were quite cheap when they came out, so parts for them should theoretically be quite cheap. Probably not, considering the age of most of these things, but other than that, they're quite nice cars to drive, apparently, if you can excuse the quirks of their age. What the heck am I hearing? Am I hearing like the road noise? No idea. Yeah, currently at nearly 75 miles per gallon, which is like madness. Although under acceleration now, we're not really getting anywhere near. We're not. Oh no, actually, no, we are going closer to 75. And then downhill, we do need some throttle application in order to actually maintain our speed, which is slightly surprising, but makes sense. And here we are in the city. Ooh, there's a speed bump there, that makes sense. Let's just find a big spot to park. And we got 77.7 miles per gallon in 5 kilometers. Like, goodness me, that's incredible. Range of 1,300 kilometers. To put that number into perspective, that is enough distance to go from Brisbane to Sydney and all the way back to Port Macquarie in New South Wales. Like, you can make it from Brisbane to Sydney and then a third of the way back. Just absolute madness. That's also enough distance to go all the way from the furthest southwest point of the UK all the way up to Kirkwall in Scotland. Madness. Well, actually, no. You'd be about 100 kilometers shy of Kirkwall. But still, like, absolutely insane. And now we're going to see how far this little nugget can fly. As a send-off for the video ending. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more of this thing, or if you have another video idea that you want to give. 235-ish, I think that was. Pretty good. I think he's handling it well. Very flippy. Ooh. Maybe not. He's not too out of shape. Like, he's going to the scrapyard, but it's not too bad. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all the support recently. We've had there's like 7 new people subscribe within like the past 7 days. Madness. At least way more than I'm expecting. To be honest, I'm not expecting anyone, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you. It means a lot to me, and I hope I can continue making your days just that little bit better than they were before. Yeah, goodbye. That's how outros work, right? You just waffle on for about 10 seconds, 10 to 30 seconds, and then video ends, right?